All right, doing a quick video comparing the Brouwer M1811 grip module and the Wilson Combat grip module. Before we get too deep into it, I'll just say that I personally will be sticking with the Wilson Combat grip module, and that's not to say that the Brouwer is bad. And in a lot of specifics, the Brouwer is the better grip module, but the Wilson just has features that I prefer, so I'll be sticking with that. So to start, we'll go with the Brouwer M1811, mostly because this is getting the most press right now and seems to be everybody's favorite. So to talk about what I like about it, the general profile of it is very good, kind of in between a 1911 and a 2011. Not that like fat, almost falling out of your hand 2011 grip, and not as skinny as a 1911, but I find it fills, and I have size large hands, I find it fills the hand in a very beneficial way when it comes to shooting. Some other things I like about it: the fencing around the slide release. I have yet to accidentally hold one down, but I do like fencing on parts like that in the event it becomes necessary. Granted, it hasn't for me yet, but I do like it. The trigger pack module, whatever you want to call it, fits into the Brouwer very tightly and very nicely, so I like that. Definitely quality molding they're using over there. The rail, and we'll talk about why this is a point. The rail fits lights very tightly and nicely, which is good. The downsides to it, let's say this: the stock texture on the Brouwer is pretty much non-existent and sucks. You can see I went with the silicon carbide edition they used to offer. I don't know if they still do. It's starting to wear off in some parts. And just as an aside, silicon carbide is great for dedicated competition guns, but it gums up with your skin and is more difficult to clean than normal stippling. So unless it's a dedicated competition gun, I would just stick to aggressive stippling if you were to pick up one of these. The other downsides, the main one is the magwell is on the small side. Not a big deal because they offer an add-on magwell. Granted, you can't use that in competitions, but it does what magwells are supposed to do, which is nice. This double undercut, I am in general not a big fan of double undercuts. I find it makes me do the Chris Costa really high up support grip. I'm just not a fan of that. If you shoot like that, you'll like this. I just personally don't. What else do I not like? I think that's it as far as like standout downsides. So very good grip module, just not kind of my thing. But we'll compare the Wilson and the benefits to the Wilson. I like the texture on this a lot better than a stock Brouwer. And when I first got this, I was worried this like macro pattern, if you can kind of see it, was going to be slippery. But while it's not as aggressive as, say, the stippling on the back, you see some dead skin kind of in there. It's not as aggressive as that. It does a good job of not being stick, actually providing good texture for your hands, especially the support ham. I find I can get a good purchase and it not want to slide out under recoil, which is surprising. This has a flared magwell, which is really good. I don't know if anybody makes add-on magwells to this, but I almost think you don't need it. The single undercut, one of my favorite things to this, you can see how wide this goes, is really good. Let you get nice and high up on the grip module, as well as the beaver tail is slightly higher on the Wilson than the Brouwer. So it just leads to getting really high up on the P320, which is a high bore axis handgun. The other things I like about this, the magazine release, this is just a standard one, and I find it has this kind of scallop here. It kind of does both the trigger finger and for the mag release, but when I go to do a reload, it just like presents that button right for my thumb. Whereas the Brouwer, you kind of, it almost, It's not fenced, but it's fenced, and you have to more search for it. Those Align tactical offset mag releases, I would look into one for the Browers. The Wilsons, you don't need it. It presents it very well. It has less of a pronounced double undercut. It's got a very tiny one. You might be able to tell in camera, but it's pretty much non-existent. I prefer this. The downsides, the other good thing for the Wilson, it takes these tungsten grip weights, which are nice, and I really wish the Brouwer had that. I almost think if the Brouwer had that, I would jump over. But they say it reduces recoil and all that. I don't really find it beneficial for recoil reduction, more of just the general balance and handling characteristics of the gun, especially with a loaded mag. Just puts it the weight like right in the center of your firing hand, and it just it's very subjective, so it's hard to put this into words, but it's a very handy feeling, and the swing to it is very nice when you're transitioning target to target. Again, very subjective to say that, but I really like that feature. The downsides to the Wilson, it's the trigger pack, whatever you call it, chassis, is a little bit loose in this grip module. So it's not sloppy loose, like it's gonna fly out of there or anything. It's just not as tight as the Brouwer, which is a downside. The light rail on this, so this is the carry, so the shorter dust cover with the full-size grip, and the quick detach X300s, both of them, Picatinny, or both of the little inserts, Picatinny and Universal, are comically loose on the Wilson. So you can see I got the thumb screw model in, and the reason being, and I should have taken this off to show you, but the front end of the Picatinny rail is kind of tapered, so the X300 just got like nothing to grab onto. Supposedly the full length dust covers fix that. I don't have one to say, but the thumb screw X300 is solid, so I have no reason to buy a new one. What else we got? Oh, this little bobtail section down here, I don't really like that. I prefer how like the Brouwer goes straight back, kind of fills the back end of my palm a little bit better. Is it detrimental to shooting? Not really. I can just tell like I'm kind of missing on some purchase on the firearm, which is I don't know, like putting up times, it doesn't really affect you. I just would prefer it be there than not be there. So that should be most of the positives and negatives. Really, the dream would be if I could get a Brouwer with the flared magwell of the Wilson, the texture of the Wilson, the beaver tail of the Wilson, and kind of making these two, this like scallop extend down to the magazine release, and then to still take grip weights, then I might switch to the Brouwer. But the reason I say I'm sticking with the Wilson is just this whole package. I find I get a much more positive control in the gun, which is weird. I think part of it is, and it's funny, Wilson Combat being a 1911 company, they have more of a CZ Beretta profile to the grip module, whereas the Brouwer, you can see it's more straight, like a 1911, 2011. And I'm kind of used to that. So between all of the features you get with the Wilson, and that I in general prefer that profile of grip, I'll just be sticking with the Wilson. Having said that, if you like 1911s, 2011s, you will probably enjoy the Brouwer a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more, but you'll enjoy the Brouwer more. And it is an exceptionally nice grip module. And that reflects in the price because they're a little bit pricey for what they are. But as I said, I'll be sticking with the Wilson. That's my preference, but there's definitely benefits to both of them. So yeah.